In this video, we'll be discussing sentence fragments which show up on the writing portion of the SAT. Sentence fragments are basically incomplete sentences. Sometimes this means that sentence fragments are very short. However, not all short sentences are sentence fragments, and not all sentence fragments are short. And we'll see some examples of that in just a minute. There are two basic types of sentence fragments that show up on the test. Many sentence fragments lack a main verb. To jog your memory, all complete grammatically correct sentences need a subject and a verb and need to express a complete idea. Other types of sentence fragments on the test use the words who, which, that, or whose to create dependent clauses and therefore sentence fragments rather than full complete sentences. Let's dig a little bit deeper into these two types of sentence fragment questions. First of all, whenever you see a sentence that you suspect is a fragment, ask yourself if the sentence contains a complete thought. Does the sentence sound incomplete or leave you wondering what happens next? If so, there's a good chance that you're looking at a sentence fragment. As opposed to some earlier advice that I might have given you on writing questions, on sentence fragment questions, it's often a good idea to trust your ear. If you read the sentence and it sounds incomplete, or it sounds like something should come next, or sort of leaves you hanging when you get to the period at the end, odds are good that you're looking at a sentence fragment. Let's go a little bit further into these things. Probably the most common type of sentence fragment question on the test is made up of sentence fragments that lack a main verb. For instance, here's an incorrect sentence, in fact a fragment. The man on the rooftop. Well, nothing happens in this sentence, and that's because we don't have a verb. We could plug in literally almost any verb to this sentence and end up with a completely formed, grammatically correct sentence. For instance, I could say, the man walked on the rooftop, or the man was on the rooftop, or the man is planning to be on the rooftop next Wednesday if he remembers to do so. Any of these would work, and again, all we really need is a verb to make the sentence complete. Here's a practice question that features a fragment that does not have a main verb. The issue of brand image, frequently compounded in the internet age because of the use and publication of logos and slogans, are not tightly controlled. Well, the problem is that we don't have a main verb in this sentence. Therefore, A, B, and C are all bad answers. None of these three choices adds a main verb. So we're left with D and E. And if you look at D and E with me, the common theme between the two is that we've got the word is. This short two-letter verb is enough to turn this fragment into a complete sentence. So what's the difference between D and E? Well, you've already probably guessed it with me. The correct answer is D. Both D and E include the verb is and therefore construct complete sentences, but D is the better choice because is the word that we need at the end. Listen to it as I read it, and I think you'll agree that we've done well by fixing the fragment with answer D. The issue of brand image is frequently compounded in the internet age because the use and publication of logos and slogans are not tightly controlled. Sounds better to me. The second type of fragment that you'll see on the writing section in the test features the words who, which, or that. Fragments that contain who, which, or that set up dependent clauses and therefore do not make for complete sentences. Let's have a look at an example. The members of the town council who believe that taxes should not be raised. Well, to me it sounds like something needs to come at the end of that sentence. I'm left hanging wondering what's going to happen. What actually did the members of the town council do? Well, let's see if we can fix it. All we need to do is get rid of the word who, and we're in good shape. The members of the town council believe that taxes should not be raised. Now we've got a short, perfectly grammatically correct, straightforward sentence. Let's have a look at a question that features a fragment formed by the words who, that, or which. The issue the Board of Trustees debated was whether there will be sufficient funding for educational reform. Well, if you remember the previous question, in that one we had a sentence fragment that was formed by the word who, and all we had to do was get rid of the word who to make a complete sentence. Well, this question is exactly the same, except we have the word which instead of who. So the first order of business is to cross off answer A, which is the same as the original sentence. Now, you might have already zoomed in on it, but as I mentioned, all we have to do is get rid of the word which, and we've got a completely formed, grammatically correct sentence. The answer that does that is answer E. We get rid of the comma, and we get rid of the word which, and we've got a simple, straightforward, grammatically correct sentence. Listen to it with me, and I think you'll agree that it fixes the fragment very smoothly. The issue the Board of Trustees debated was whether there will be sufficient funding for educational reform. Now, answers B, C, and D all sound decent, but not quite as good as E. The point is this: oftentimes when you see a sentence fragment formed with the words which, that, or who, simply get rid of the which, that, or who, and you'll have fixed it in the most correct way possible. So, thanks for listening to my brief spiel on sentence fragments. Hope that helped you out a little bit, and I hope to talk with you soon.